Welcome, everyone. This is Jermaine Jackson, sports producer here at Daybreak Star Radio, the only station indigenizing the airwaves. And today, we're honored to welcome a standout athlete, a fierce competitor, and a star both on and off the field, Seneca Curo. Over 6 years at UCLA, Seneca made her mark as one of the Bruins' most versatile and resilient softball players, starting games all over the field, hitting clutch home runs, and earning both her bachelor's and master's along the way. She's carried her culture, her community, and her competitive spirit with her every step of her journey, and we are excited to get an inside look at her journey. Seneca, thank you for taking the time to join us, and how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
So to start things off, could you please introduce yourself to our listeners and let them know which nation or tribe you hail from?
Yeah. Howka, everyone. My name is Seneca Curo. I'm from the Barona Band of Mission Indians. We're located in Southern California.
How has your Native American heritage growing up on the reservation influenced your journey in softball and shaped who you are both on and off the field?
Yeah, I think my culture and just growing up on the res, like I was surrounded by a bunch of family members. You know, we all live right down the road from each other. So family is very important to me. And when I got to college, you know, I struggled a little bit with that family aspect just because being around a bunch of girls from all over the country, you know, we gotta kind of learn to work together, and we all have very different personalities and, you know, we're very raised differently, but just keeping the whole family aspect and like playing for each other, that was very important to me. And that's part of the reason why I went to UCLA. You know, when I went on a visit there, I was very young. I was like in 8th grade or freshman in high school, and they just made me feel like family. So that was one of the reasons why I went there.
Next question I want to ask is, when did you first fall in love with softball, and what inspired you to pursue it seriously all the way to the collegiate level at UCLA?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, my dad grew up playing baseball, and like he's always been my idol, you know, like I used to hear stories of him like hitting home runs and like just being this like dominant player like in football and in baseball. And so I have 4 brothers also, and so we always grew up playing baseball from like the time we were like 3 or 4. And when I was about like 9, I switched over to softball and I like hated it. I was like, please don't make me play with the girls. Like, I don't want to play softball. But you know, my parents' judgment, and it was time, I guess, for me to start playing with the girls. And I wouldn't say that I was like the best player, you know, but like just playing softball or playing baseball growing up, I was just like a natural athlete. And yeah, having 4 brothers and a bunch of boy cousins, you know, we just played whatever sport, like whatever ball was like around us, whether it was like basketball, football, baseball, like whatever we did, we always just competed, and it got pretty cutthroat. But, you know, I think that they made me like the athlete and the competitor that I am. So
sounds like a normal Native family, you know.
For sure.
Were you in the middle, or are you like the oldest or youngest, or?
I'm the second oldest, so.
Okay, second oldest. Yeah. You've played nearly every position on the field, and you've also battled through injuries across your career. What was the biggest challenge you faced as an athlete, and how did you grow from it?
Yeah, I think just finding my voice, you know, as a leader. Like when I first got there, I was new to like a pretty historic and like well-known program. So like I was just trying to like find my way and like trying to just bring pride like to my family also back home, and like carry my last name with pride. And I was like almost scared to lead, you know, like I didn't want to like let people down or let the team down. And like me being so young, I was just like, no, like I don't want to lead, you know, when all the older girls, all my older teammates were like, you're like a natural leader, like lead and people will follow you. And I was just like, I think I was like scared at first, just being so young and new to the program. But, you know, being there so long, I like found my voice and I learned how to lead people. And, you know, leading isn't the easiest thing to do. Otherwise everyone would be a leader. But, you know, I'm just super grateful that I learned about myself and about like life in general, and learned how to use my voice and be a leader at UCLA. So.
Yeah. So you must have had great role models growing up. Can you kind of elaborate on some of the role models that you had growing up and who you looked up to?
Yeah, of course. Well, my dad first was like my first role model ever since I was little. I wanted to be like just like him or better than him, you know. But then my uncle Matt, he played baseball too. He's a little bit older than my dad. He actually signed with the Padres, but had a stroke while he was playing in minor league. So he never got to like fulfill his dream of like playing pro. So they were my role models back home. But then when I got to college, I played with like the best players in the country to ever play the game of softball in my eyes. Lisa Fernandez, Coach Kelly Inouye Perez, Kirk Walker as my coaches, and then as my teammates, Megan Framo, Leah Jordan, Bree Perez, Maya Brady, Delaney Wiz. Like I just had so many like solid people to look up to who just, you know, took care of the program, and I wanted to be just like them and follow in their footsteps. So,
can you give me a moment in your career that you consider like a defining one, and how did you shape your mindset as a player?
I would say like my freshman year when I first got there, it was like I had no expectations, you know, like so I just showed up and like did my best to be me and like play the way that I know how. And every year at the beginning of the year, there's like tournament season, and so we just play like 5-6 games a weekend. And I was a freshman and I was playing out in Florida, and I think I hit like a go ahead like double off of Florida State in Florida. And so that was just like a lot of fun. I was like, wow, like this feeling is like addicting almost, or like this is like why we play, you know, like to have this feeling and like this sensation. And then like a difficult moment in my career was definitely just getting injured. You know, I feel like I was playing some of the best like softball that I've ever been playing. My third year being at UCLA, and then my shoulder just wasn't cooperating the way that I would have liked, but I wouldn't change my journey at all whatsoever.
You have to go through the ups and downs, and you know you fail your way through success. You know,
of course.
So, what does it mean to you to represent Indigenous culture at one of the most elite programs in women's college softball, and how did you carry that responsibility?
I don't really think of it like in that way. You know, I was just trying to have fun and, you know, bring pride like to my family and like our last name. But yeah, I didn't really try to put that much weight like on my shoulders, because if you do, like some people like crack under that kind of pressure, or, you know, like some people excel at it. But I didn't try to look at it in that way and put that much pressure like on my shoulders. I just try to have fun, you know, and respect the program as much as I could. And the whole family aspect was very familiar to me, which I like so much, and could, you know, see eye to eye with that. So,
yeah, I love that answer. So, talking about your team, you know, softball is a team game, but you had, you know, your role kind of changed, and you played all over the field. So, how do you build chemistry with your teammates from all walks of life and stay mentally ready no matter where you need it?
Yeah, that actually was tough, playing like different positions and like maybe not feeling the most comfortable at like whatever position, but that foundation starts like in the fall when we get there, and just like the trust from the coaches and my teammates. Like I remember I must have been like a freshman or sophomore, and I had to go play first base, and I was like so nervous. Like I'd never played first base in my like career, like even when I was a kid. And my teammate, Bree Perez, like a leader in my eyes, and one of the UCLA grades, was just like, you have like no expectations. Like we don't expect anything like from you at first base. Like just catch the ball, like you know how, like play softball, like you know how, and like everything will turn out the way it's supposed to be. So I don't know, just hearing that from someone that I really look up to, that I had no expectations, and you know, just to have fun. That was like, I think, one of the biggest things to hear at that age.
And is there any like cultural teaching or traditions that you draw strength from during those times?
Yeah, I would say like my faith mostly in God, and just like trusting in His plan. Yeah, I would say like my faith was very important to me, like while I was at UCLA, and just standing strong and firm in my faith. And then just reminding myself that like I know how to play softball, right? Like I've grown up playing baseball, softball since I was 4 years old. So like it's the same game, like no matter what level you play at. That's kind of just what I told myself. Like,
can you share how the sisterhood of the game shaped your experience at UCLA? and what those bonds mean to you today.
Yeah, so I have four brothers. I didn't grow up with a sister, so like I don't know what that's like, but I would say that I have like 20 plus sisters, now, and like just people that I still talk to this day, like check in on. And I've only been out of college softball for a couple of weeks, but I know that I'm going to have like those friendships for life. And yeah, so not growing up with a bunch of girls now, I know exactly like how girls operate, and it's a lot different than boys. Like boys, you can like yell at them and like get in their face and like they won't take it to heart, but girls, you got to be a little bit more different with like the message and how you communicate to them. But yeah, just learning a lot about people and myself, and yeah, I'm super grateful for the relationships that I formed.
So you've graduated. So, well, congrats on your master's degree.
Thank you.
And so how has education empowered you? And do you see yourself mentoring or coaching, the next generation? Or, what do you think about that?
Yeah, so I actually got my master's degree in transformative coaching and leadership was the title. And it was basically like a program created for athletes who got like an extra year of eligibility due to COVID. Mm-hmm. So it was just a bunch of like 5th and 6th year athletes who wanted to continue playing in college. And we got to learn like so much about like how to coach and like your coaching style and different like philosophies. It was really cool, like just seeing all the things that like college athletes went through, like not just myself, as far as like mental health and like how to take care of yourself like outside of the field or the court, and like learning from like some of the best coaches in the industry, like all over the country, would come and speak to us. So yeah, that was really cool. And especially like the mental health part of it, because I feel like growing up on the reservation, like my family, we don't really talk about like our mental health and like how to communicate with each other. Like, of course we love each other and like we say that, but I know a lot of people like that's hard for them to say, especially like coming like from a masculine like household, or like my dad, like, and his dad. But yeah, so just how to deal with the mental aspect of sports. And yeah, I actually just took a job giving lessons to little girls. I never thought that like coaching would be in like my cards, but one of my old high school coaches asked me to come give lessons at her facility. So that's what's next for me.
Can you kind of tell us some of your passions beyond the game? And, how do you stay connected to your roots while pursuing your dreams? I think I read that you like to go hunting.
Yeah, of course. I love hunting. I actually have a couple trips planned. I'm going to Utah in August and then Idaho to hunt elk in September. But yeah, no, that's like hunting and fishing is like all that I look forward to when I come home from school. Like being in LA, it's like such like a culture shock, like a big city, and like can't really do any of that stuff there. But when I come home and I'm like with my cousins and my brothers and stuff, that's all we love to do. So
finally, what advice would you give to young Indigenous girls who dream of playing college sports and making their voices heard, whether it be softball or, another sport?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing would just be like, don't let anyone tell you no, like if you believe in yourself and wholeheartedly that you can do something, just go out and do it, like don't be fearful that maybe nobody's done it before, just go all in and have no regrets. And, the tribe and your people and your family are going to be behind you like every step of the way. So that's my advice.
Great advice.
Thank you.
So Seneca, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for talking with us. And we hope you are blessed with much more success in all your future endeavors.
Thank you. Appreciate it.